mind's a little block right now. I'm just making my videos are basically about wanting to find. I noticed that a lot of videos on YouTube, if I want to find something that is a cartoon in the native tongue, you don't find it. You don't really find any of that. There is a project going on. Forgot what it's called. Kichwa or something like that. They only uploaded 3. Chili Willy, which is that cute little penguin, and the other one is Mickey Mouse. I don't know if they will try to block me. YouTube tends to block me if I show something that is copyright. But where the hell is it? I'll just take my chances. Okay. Who knows where it is though? Where's the bright light? Oh, because of this. Somewhere in here. Bingo. Here. No. It won't let me show. And anyway. Well, it's Kichwa doblaje cuna. And so I try to upload that one with subtitles. It wouldn't let me, it blocked me. And so yeah, there's many Mickey Mouse shorts. You find them on YouTube, but you also find other types. So I ran into one where there was a native in it, so I thought that was, as usual, they're kind of weird, different. Although I felt it was kind of funny to put it with Juan Ponce de Leon because he landed in, southern Florida, and I've been there. I have family there, and it's extremely hot there. It can reach up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It is extremely hot. So I thought that was funny. I've been to Spain, and Spain is more of a gray clouds, windy, at least the places I've been to. It's not really a sunny place. So it kind of made me laugh because it imagined myself how I felt when I was there, and it was that hot. And for me, history is history. Were the Spanish conquistadors bad? Yeah, basically, deal with it. I'm gonna upload the human sacrifice one in order to, and it's funny because when it came to that cartoon, it was in my recommendations. I went with it, and but yeah, now I had to search several videos until I finally found something. They don't really put many cartoons about human sacrifice, like, that are, those types of cartoons where it's made to entertain. So basically, yeah, if my YouTube videos bug you, I don't see why you just don't leave, basically. So for me, I share whatever comes to mind. Some of them I feel like I regretted, such as the memes that I uploaded, but those are phrases and expressions and what do you call it, idioms, I think. that are definitely used in Otavalo and Kichwa culture. And I thought informing people of also the fact that that's a part of our slang, our form of speech, our derogatory terms, phrases that we use, are basically. But it was not well put and explained the reason why. So other things, putting this cartoon is like all the cartoons that I would upload would be pretty much cyanide and happiness are like that. They're weird. Another one that is Dubis Goopus or something like that. They're weird cartoons. I don't know how to make mine own the way like the way they do. Really well done. I can't do that, and that's it. It's what I do. I dub them myself using Audacity, and so I try to find and short ones because in the latest one that I uploaded with the Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon, he landed in Florida, and that one was just 1 minute and 38 seconds, and that's doable. If it's like 3 minutes, that's too much for me. So I try to find shorts that I can dub in Kichwa, basically. And so yeah, history is what it is. If history bothers you, you're not accepting facts, basically. The conquistadors were bad people. They were. They burned alive Tainos. What else? They burned them at the stake. They lynched them. They chopped their hands off. They dismembered Tupac Amaru and Jacinto Canek. Sorry, that's pretty much the situation. So it's basically the truth, And not to take the conquistadors that I put on my channel to represent the modern day Spaniards. My dad is Spanish, and he's not either a rapist or a murderer or somebody that would do those things. And I will put stuff about natives. I'm going to put this cartoon. It's a little bit weird, I guess. It's a Lego one of human sacrifice, and to make things fair, basically. I accept history, and being of a culture that did that doesn't mean that I'm like that. Doesn't mean that my mother is, doesn't mean that my mother's a cannibal. Doesn't mean that my mother believes in human sacrifice. Doesn't mean that our culture is entirely savage. All cultures have savage things. And I think that should be understood. And to respect history for what it is. It's the best way to put it. Also concerned that it may have sounded like I defended the English, but through my research, they were less worse. They did. There are massacres like the Battle of Wounded Knee, but the situation is a little bit different. They were trying to. Their intentions was to take away their rifles. Other ones is there's the something massacre for the Comanches, and the reason why there was a massacre of Comanches is because the Comanches massacred them first and took a little girl actually, and that little girl ends up being the mother of Quanah Parker. So, and it's different. It's less worse. I mean, if you think I'm being biased, I'm sorry. When they say they dismembered Jacinto Canek, and when it came to Geronimo, all they did was imprison him and then invited him to the inauguration of President Roosevelt. There, there seems to be like one is a lot worse than the other one. So that's my opinion. I give my opinion. Does that mean I'm sick? So be it. This is how I express myself. I also said it and they say to make it more popular, so you get more views. I'm not interested in that. I'm more like in trial and error moment since I'm learning in the process. I also have a lot of trouble communicating. I have a speech disorder, and so it's hard to explain how it is. And so I'm learning to express my opinions of the fact that people are extremely uneducated, especially Ada. You go around saying that Malinali is called Doña Marina because she doesn't know her real name. How is she going to have an extensive vocabulary of her own native tongue, which is a lot of words, but can't remember one word, her name. So, and then other things they say that are lies as well. The Aztecs basically had Aztec priestess, female priestess. To say that Indians were more sexist than Spaniards is ridiculous, basically. If you try to say the word P-U-T-A, puta, say that in Kichwa. You cannot. Say that in Nahuatl. You cannot. So, I think the Indians were less sexist, basically. So, just saying what it really is. And they also said that the reason why the Aztec emperor was offended that Malinali didn't speak to, that Malinali spoke to him directly, it's not because she was female. It was because she's a slave. Because the emperor, I can't pronounce these Aztec words, Tlatoani Moctezuma, meaning Emperor Moctezuma, has to talk to the Aztec priestess, which there were female ones. And she is allowed to speak directly to the emperor. Okay? So, saying that it's because of her gender is not true. It's because they had a hierarchy based on wealth and poverty. So he was offended that a slave was talking directly to him. So there's a lot of things that get said that aren't true, gets misinterpreted, and and I notice how many people know about Geronimo or Sitting Bull or etc. And but they don't know any of them from south of the border. They can't name a single cacique. We don't say chief, we say cacique. Other things that I want to talk about is the difference. We are considered Indians. In Ecuador, it's a little different from Mexico, where there's not a huge wall of difference, at least in my experience. For me, being mestizo, it's kind of a blurred term, where basically, the best example I can give is some people would say that Oswaldo Guayasamín is mestizo, but he's also Indian. So he can go by both terms, basically, is what I'm saying. In Ecuador, it's like that. In Ecuador, it's kind of, it's not fixed or strict on these definitions. It's kind of, you use them without trying to be proper or politically correct, or If someone looks Oriental, they call them Chinese, and they don't necessarily happen to be Chinese. It's just nobody. They just describe your appearance more than anything else. So there's a lot of things like these things that people. We have the word mestizo. We have slight differences. We're not built on sovereign nations that are federally recognized to a country. There's going to be slight differences. So sometimes they confuse or say that we're tribal, when a lot of native-speaking communities are referred to as indigenous communities, not tribe. They're not of a tribe. They're of a community, but not a tribe. They don't have a chief. They don't have a sovereign nation. So they're just, just because they're Indian, that doesn't mean they're tribal. Also, because we have a lot of Indians in Latin America, you have something greater than clans and tribes, such as the Zapotec have city-states, so do the Mayans. After their empire fell apart, they function in city-states, and that's basically, how do I explain that one? Well, if you know politics and geography, that you can learn about it. But basically, a city kind of like run like a state, and so that's not a tribe. And if you're Indian, you have to know what tribe you're from, and it's no. So sometimes I hear that some of them told me I have to put down detribalized, assuming that I don't know my ethnicity, and it's like detribalized Indian, and it's not like that. Some are tribal. The Chachis, for example, the Cayapas, they are tribal. They have a leader, and I don't know the name of that one. The Kofan, that one I do know the leader, because for some reason he's famous. His name is Lucho Criollo, and he is the leader of the Kofan, and that is a tribe. And we don't use cacique anymore. In Ecuador, we use the word leader, basically. What else? So yeah, they do put a lot of the stereotypes that are here to the ones of Latin America. In United States, it's stereotyped that a Native American is named after something from nature, or they're called a crazy bear, or wild horse, and that's not the same. The most likely scenario that an Indian would have is the name Maria, Carmen, and so yeah, and that's as good as I can do. So yeah, it's so stereotypical for an Indian. It's like there's also even a movie called Indian Maria. So it's just very common name, that it's more put on people with indigenous features than, I feel like I might be blocking a little, because sometimes I try to say something, but I only say partially, and it doesn't, I leave out things, and I don't sound like it makes sense, basically. So yeah, I watch my videos and I realize that happens a bit, because I get stuck. But yeah, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, basically, if it offends you, you don't like it, why are you watching it? Just go. I think people that do that is just people that are insecure and need to. I've been like that, before, but I guess I slowly learned that, you can't just go and try to attack somebody and think you can change them that way. And it's like, no, it don't work that way. They're going to continue being whoever the hell they want to be, and you just have to let live. basically. You don't like their content, just leave it alone. You're not going to change them. Calling them names, telling them they're sick, that's not going to do anything, I'm sorry to say. So, yeah, my content may have certain offensive things. They are basically things about natives. So that will involve the conquistadors, and the conquistadors were bad people. Yeah. No matter how much you want to hide the truth, why are you doing that? That's the truth. And you can do the same thing with me, and I'm not going to go into 30,000 videos and start ranting my ass off because I don't like people pointing out that, that we did human sacrifice. The only thing I can say that bugs me, it's the fact that they only point that out about us, that we're cannibals, that we're human sacrifice, and they leave everything else out. But no, that's life. I learned to live with it. It's what people think of us, and it doesn't change who I am or who I'm going to continue to be. So that's my personal opinion. The cartoon to me was basically not the best cartoon in the world. I wasn't fully happy with it, to be honest. But to me, you notice that these cartoons get around 10 million views for some odd reason. They don't make me laugh personally, but I decided at it because it had a native in it, and since it's things that people find humorous, I decided to go ahead and dub them. Some of them are very sexual, they're very, some of them use a lot of bad words. There's vete la verge, for example. And I might do that one, maybe, I haven't thought of the... I was trying to look for mostly cartoons with natives in it, and that's the best I could, because the best I could find, honestly. So, oh well, that's the best I could do. There's very little content for natives, basically, but that's it. All I'm doing is somewhat rambling, but trying to give the best that I can information. Of my intent on my videos is basically that my videos about history on native culture, that people are misinformed, basically. From things like, American Indians do not do salsa and merengue. Yes, they do. There are many. Even the ones here. Well, not that. I think they listen to ranchero, actually. And it's because they're border tribes. There's border tribes like the Cocopac, the Kumeyaay, the Papago, and I've seen videos about them dancing to Latin American music. I'm not an expert. I think it sounds like Latin American music, obviously. It is. And I'm guessing it's ranchero. So music like that. It sounded like Mexican music. And so yeah, they kind of bond with each other despite of national differences, So yeah, it's or that a Native American, meaning when I say American Indian, I mean all the Americas. Native American, they have to have an exclusive term for themselves. I mean, they have a history with their intertribal powwows. They have where they decided to, assimilate somewhat, not assimilate, what's the word? Where they tried to homogenize, I guess, with this style of dance that isn't originally Apache or Navajo, but it's they bond with each other with it, and that doesn't go south of the border. So there's that. There's their boarding schools, the history, how that impacted their society, their culture, their food. That is not the same for us. So there's going to be slight cultural differences, mentality, that I think when you describe a Native American, I think you describe powwows and, their boarding school, their culture, of what it's like to be in an English-speaking society. And so there's going to be differences. And what else? That's it, I guess. Let me see. So yeah,